Hello, in this video, I'm going to be going through the 4 different classes in Dungeon Quest and honestly, which are better in a sense. So let's get into it. So for the first one I'm going to go over is a mage. So you got your mage weapons, your spell power, the good do. So we're going to do a test here to see which ones or which is kind of like damage wise. So for mage, I don't have it enhanced inner rage, so I'm just gonna go with inner focus. I'm gonna use the lightning burst, and then I'll do agony words after. I don't have a Elden Bark set for warrior, so I'm just gonna go with crystalline to make it fair, and then I'm gonna use the great staff because I have one for warrior. I think it's around the same. So bam. 188, 195. It's pretty solid. The lightning burst itself is, I guess some would consider it better than agony orbs. Honestly, I use both every now and then, so looks like we're peaking around 196, 195, average 188. We're gonna do one more test here. Yeah, so low 180, high 196. So there you go. Okay, so Edinburgh Great Sword. Now, of course, it's going to vary because they're not like the same pot armor. But, come on, like, give me a break here. So, I'm going to want one that's kind of similar. And then we're going to do, well, I didn't do Agony Orbs, but it's going to be around the same damage. They don't really vary much from damage if you have a different spell. So, I think Crystalline Cannon's the better one. So, yeah, I think. So, okay, well, I forgot to change my spell points. So we're just going to go with 51 here. And then, so-and-so in physical power. And then we're going to see. So, the first thing I see is it does do more damage. I don't know why it does that, but it does do more damage. But the chest piece I used is not as good for mage, so that could be why. I think that's why it's varying. Yeah. So honestly, if I had to say, warrior and mage are kind of equal in a sense. Every new dungeon that comes out, there's different spells, and some spells are, let's say, have a wider range than other class spells. So dungeons come out and they'll say a different class is better, but not because of the damage, because of the spells that come out and how they can be used. So I know a lot of people have switched or are switching to warrior for Enchanted Forest, when previously a lot of people were mage, and it kind of just flip-flops. A lot of people switch. I've never switched off mage. I don't really see a reason to. I don't really care about switching classes. But I know I said 4 classes. Those were the 2 main ones. But there are 2 kind of subclasses. So you got healer and tank. And healer is just a classic revitalized life dash kind of. You don't really have to do too much. What healer is, you kind of, I don't know where the other one is, but do I even have to? Yeah, I do. So what you would do is you have usually you have like tank armor on, right? So I'd put on tank armor, and then I would put on a mage weapon, and after I do that, I would pump everything I have into stamina, because you don't need spell power points. You only need just a single like mage weapon for it, really, because it's gonna heal like really high. It's gonna heal you back to full health, whether you have full spell power or no spell power, as long as you have like a mage weapon. So yeah, healer class is probably I'm gonna do a kind of a pyramid type of thing after this, expanding like the hierarchy. But yeah, healer, you balance your cooldowns, wait for the enemy to attack, then you use your second heal. Gotta balance your heals. Pretty simple. you just gotta play it smart because you can't just be a healer and just click E and Q like whenever they're like right from cooldown. You kind of gotta time your heals with like the enemy attacks to make sure you get the most out of them, and that's why there's more experienced healers to kind of autopilot healers that aren't that good. So if you wonder why that you don't have like much healing done compared to someone else who has like 10 times the amount of healing done when you're both healing, they're probably timing it better. And for the last class is tank. So I'm already using my tank stuff. I'm just gonna go with mage. I already have this. So for tank, there's two types of tanks. There's one that has like it's like a half healer, half taunt tank, which taunts are God, I can't find anything. I need to sort my spells out. But taunts are they allure the enemies, they attract the enemy. So the first type of tank would be like he would run up with his high health, so he's not gonna die. If he dies, he's a pretty bad tank. He's gonna do this to the enemies, and he's gonna make them target him. And then while he's getting targeted, he's just gonna, you know, maybe you'll heal. You know, kind of like a half tank, half heal to get them on you and not target your warriors. Or you kind of have like a full tank that is just straight up aggro. And you know, you just roar, and then full aggro, make sure they're constantly on you, attacking you, and then you're gonna have healers supporting you so they are not targeting your warriors. These are usually used in bigger groups and smaller groups. Tanks are really optional. You really don't need them most of the time. A lot of the time you just need like your main DPS, and then you have some healers in the back helping you out. But there is actually kind of what I did when Volcanic Chambers was the only one out. I would run like a half and half setup where I'd be like a half tank, half DPS, because a lot of the times is when you're a healer and you get stuck at the last boss and you don't have any DPS left, so you can't finish the fight because there's only healers left. And what I did was, I think the average was 12 trillion damage for Volcanic Chambers. So if I did 12 trill, I would put half in spell power, half in stamina. So I would be a tankier than normal, so I wouldn't really die. I wouldn't be able to die, unlike other people. I would have more health. I'd make sure I'm at the end, and then if there was no DPS left, if 12 was average, I'd be doing around 6 trillion, and that's enough to finish the fight, as long as I have like enough time. So compared to a healer that does like less than 1 trillion or 1 trillion, if there's only one left, I'd do 6 trillion and be able to finish the fight, and I would guaranteed to be at the end because I wouldn't die at the higher health. So yeah, that's it for this section. I'm going to do a quick pyramid at the end and show you kind of like the tier of the classes. Okay, so this is the tier of this part. So we kind of have like the, I guess, a pyramid of sorts, right? Just going to use the triangle tool. So we have the pyramid tool, or the pyramid, and we kind of have the tiers, right? So the top part would be kind of like most important / needed, and that is obviously gonna be your DPS. Okay, that's just weird. And then the second part is gonna be needed, but not as important. There we go. And then this is completely optional. And I think you can probably guess where I'm going to place each. But essentially, I would put, you got, they're going to share the top part, but you got a mage / warrior as your most important. Alright? Then you're going to have healer for your heals, and then tank. Now, I'm pretty sure I already explained it. But most important, you can solo levels without a healer. If you're trying to heal when you're soloing, you're going to run out of time, probably. If you're constantly healing, you can heal every once in a while. But you're really going to want mainly mage and warriors. So say if you have a 20-man group, right? You're going to want, like, say, like 14 DPS. 5 healers, and then like the last slot someone might be like a tank that's like half heal, half tank, or full tank. So healers are definitely needed in bigger groups, especially for hardcore mode, But sometimes you like, especially if you're not doing hardcore, you don't really need a healer that much. They're more optional in that sense. But for bigger groups in hardcore, definitely wanted and needed. High health for healer. Most important word, mage and tank. Tank is completely optional, mostly used in high groups. So it's like 1 and 2 sprinkled around. I already explained that there's like half heal, half tank, full tank. So yeah, that's kind of like my view. No, mage and warrior are pretty much the same with damage. They're just, the spells are really what determines what's better, in a sense, not damage. So yeah, that's it for the video. If you liked it, maybe consider subscribing, like, commenting down below. Helps out. And yeah, have a good day.